We all have someone who tries to test us. That person who knows exactly what to say to upset you, who enjoys seeing you get worked up, who seeks attention by disguising their insecurity as superiority. You don't have to look far. It could be a boss, a relative, a friend, or even a stranger on the street. The point is not who it is, but how you respond, because that's where your true strength is measured. Stoicism teaches that strength is not in controlling others, but in mastering the only thing you really can, your reactions. You can live trying to correct others' behavior, or you can learn to keep calm in the midst of chaos. The former wears you down, the latter sets you free. Every difficult person, every provocative situation is a test of your character. If you understand this, you stop taking it as an offense and see it as an opportunity to demonstrate your self-control. It's not about becoming insensitive, but about becoming aware. About realizing that reacting from anger is handing control to the least deserving. Provocation loses its power when you stop giving it importance. That's where the difference lies between the one who reacts and the one who masters. One sinks into the noise, the other observes in silence. This video is not about teaching you to avoid conflicts, but to face them with calm and clarity. To maintain your dignity even when the environment tries to drag you down. Because self-control is not repression, it's emotional intelligence in its purest form. It's understanding that you don't need to prove anything because you already know who you are. And when you reach that point, there's no word, gesture, or provocation capable of taking you out of your center. That's the power that Stoicism gives you. When master your reactions, imagine someone throwing a stone into the water. The first thing that happens is not the impact, but the waves that slowly spread across the surface. Every hurtful word, every provocation, every attitude that seeks to make you lose control works the same way. The problem is not in the stone, but in the waves that you let spread within you. Mastering your reactions is learning to calm the water before it turns into a storm. The most common mistake when dealing with difficult people is to believe that power lies in responding quickly, in returning the blow, in showing that no one can beat you. But that's not power, that's reaction. And whoever reacts loses. Stoicism teaches that true authority over oneself is demonstrated in the pause. In that brief instant in which you can choose between being dragged by emotion or standing firm. That second is gold. It is the space where it is decided whether you are a slave to impulse or master of yourself. Think about how many times you have regretted after an argument. How many times you said something just out of pride, just to not remain silent, just to not feel weak. But deep down you knew the reaction solved nothing, it only left you empty. What hurts the most is not what the other person says, but how you allow their words to dominate you. Every provocation you control, every impulse you contain, is a silent victory that strengthens your character. The world is full of people seeking attention through conflict. People who feed on your anger, who enjoy seeing how you defend yourself, how you justify yourself, how you wear yourself out. That's why the Stoic chooses not to enter that game. Not because he is a coward, but because he understands that responding calmly is a form of superiority that few understand. Whoever masters their temper masters the situation, because there is no more powerful defense than serenity when the other expects chaos. Mastering your reactions does not mean remaining silent out of fear, but acting from reason and not from impulse. It means looking at the person trying to provoke you and telling yourself, "This does not belong to me." It is breaking the pattern of reactivity and replacing it with clarity. You don't need to prove your worth to someone who lives off conflict. Your value is demonstrated in the calm with which you choose not to participate. Emotional control is a daily discipline. It does not arise from reading inspiring phrases, but from training the mind every time life pushes you. It is a muscle that strengthens with practice. The next time someone tries to destabilize you, breathe. Don't respond right away, observe. Let the emotion dissolve without acting on it. You will realize that you do not need to explode to be heard or raise your voice to be right. 2. Change your perception, not others. There are people who try to fix the storm by shouting at the sky, but the sky doesn't change with shouts. Change the way you see it, and the storm becomes a spectacle. That's the difference between those who let themselves be dragged by frustration and those who learn to master their minds. Stoicism teaches that reality is not modified by altering others, but by adjusting the way you interpret it. You can't control others' behavior, but you can control the meaning you give it. Each difficult person that appears in your life is like a distorted mirror. It reflects more of you than the other. If you only see arrogance, perhaps you have not yet mastered your own pride. If you see injustice, perhaps you have not yet learned to let go of the need to be right. The outside world is nothing more than a projection of what you carry within. Changing your perception is accepting that you can't control others' script, but you can rewrite the way you interpret each scene. When someone provokes you, they are not taking away your peace. They are revealing your lack of control. What hurts is not the attitude of others, but the interpretation you make of it. If someone ignores you, you can see it as contempt or as an opportunity to practice detachment. If someone criticizes you, you can feel attacked or take it as training to strengthen your calm. Each situation is a practice field, a lesson disguised as offense. Changing perception does not mean justifying the unjustifiable, but choosing not to contaminate yourself with what you can't change. It's looking at the provocateur and thinking, "This has nothing to do with me," not because you are indifferent, but because you do not give power to what does not deserve space in your mind. People act from their level of consciousness, and often the aggressiveness of others speaks more of their pain than their malice. Understanding this does not make you weak, it makes you free. The human mind tends to want to control everything external. We want others to be more empathetic, more fair, more reasonable, but we can't make them. It's impossible to change those who see no problem in their behavior. However, you can change how it affects you. That's where true freedom lies. Because if you depend on others' behavior to be at peace, then your peace will always be unstable. The Stoic learns to maintain their balance, even when everything around them is falling apart. Changing your perception is not giving up, it's reclaiming your power. It's deciding that your serenity does not depend on the world being fair or kind, but on you being so with yourself. Because in the end, whoever masters interpretation masters the experience, and when you learn to look at chaos with wisdom, chaos loses its shape. What used to irritate you now teaches you. What used to hurt you now strengthens you. That's the silent revolution of the Stoic. They don't change the world, they change the way they see it, and in doing so, the world loses its power over them. 3. Use silence as a shield. There are wars that are won without raising your voice, not because of a lack of courage, but because it is understood that speaking too much is wasting energy on enemy territory. Silence, when used with intention, is not passivity, it is power. It is the space where the other drowns in their own need to have the last word, while you maintain control. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, those who know how to be silent become a presence that commands respect without the need for noise. Difficult people seek a reaction. They don't want understanding, they want fuel. They want to see you get upset, respond, fall into their game. When you remain silent, you snatch that power from them. Silence disconcerts, disarms, and exposes the other's lack of control. There is no more forceful response than absolute calm in the face of provocation. Every word you choose not to say is a victory over your ego. Silence does not always mean weakness. Sometimes it means that your mind is one step ahead, that you chose peace over battle. It is a filter that separates the essential from the unnecessary. When someone insults you and you don't respond, It's not because you have nothing to say, but because you understand that responding only drags you to the same level. The Stoic does not seek to win arguments. He seeks not to lose serenity. And in that sense, silence is his best strategy. Sometimes we believe that silence is empty, but in reality, it is full of meaning. It's a statement that says, "It doesn't affect me." It is the language of those who no longer need to justify their worth. While the other screams, you observe. While they try to provoke you, you analyze. While they seek to hurt you, you stay centered. Silence is a mirror that reflects others' insecurity. When you don't react, you force the other to face their own noise. Practicing silence as a shield requires training. It involves resisting the urge to respond, even when everything inside you wants to do it. It involves mastering the pride that tells you that staying silent is losing. But when you master it, you discover that there is no defeat in calm, that the real victory is in not allowing yourself to be dragged into the conflict. Silence is not about repressing emotions, but about processing them before acting. It is a conscious pause that allows you to respond from reason and not from the wound. In everyday life, silence can transform relationships, discussions, and moments of tension. You don't have to explain to those who don't listen, or justify yourself to those who have already decided not to understand. Every time you choose to be silent out of wisdom and not out of fear, you strengthen yourself. You become the master of your energy. Because speaking without control is wasting power, but being silent with purpose is creating it. Silence, when born from clarity, becomes an invisible shield that protects you from emotional exhaustion. And in the end, those who remain silent do not always grant. Sometimes they just show that they are above the noise. 4. Maintain mental distance. There are fires that are not extinguished by throwing water, but by moving away from the fire. The same happens with people and situations that seek to drag you into their chaos. Maintaining mental distance does not mean being cold or indifferent. It means protecting your clarity. It's understanding that not all battles deserve your energy, and that not everything that happens around you needs an immediate response. The mind gets polluted when it mixes with the noise of others. That's why the Stoic learns to take distance before reacting. Most conflicts are born from identification. We believe that everything that happens has to do with us. If someone speaks in an aggressive tone, we take it as an attack. If someone appears indifferent, we feel that they reject us. But the truth is that many times the attitudes of others reflect their own internal state, not yours. Mental distance is that space that allows you to observe without absorbing. It's the ability to be present without getting caught in the other's emotion. When someone tries to provoke you, maintaining mental distance is refusing to participate in their drama. It's observing the scene as if you were watching a movie and understanding that you don't have to be part of the plot. It's not about disconnecting from reality, but not letting yourself be dominated by it. The outside world is full of stimuli seeking your reaction. Social media, news, conversations, everything pushes to have an opinion, to argue, to prove something. But the more you react, the more power you give away. Mental distance gives you back that power. Practicing it is not easy because the ego always wants to get involved. It wants to defend itself, explain, correct. However, the Stoic understands that peace is not negotiable. He learns not to take anything personally. Not every comment needs to be answered. Not every provocation requires defense. When you manage to see things from a higher position, the conflict is reduced. You stop feeling attacked and start to understand that most of the behaviors of others are not against you. They simply are. Mental distance is also a form of self-knowledge. It allows you to see your own emotions from the outside, observe how they arise and dissipate without letting them take control. It's like watching a storm from the window. You know it's there, you can hear it, but you don't get soaked. That perspective gives you freedom. It frees you from the cycle of reaction and allows you to act with intelligence, not impulse. Over time, you discover that maintaining mental distance does not distance you from others. it brings you closer to yourself. It gives you space to think, to decide, to respond from calmness. It makes you impervious to provocations, not because you don't feel, but because you choose not to carry what does not belong to you. That is the essence of inner strength, being in the world without letting the world enter you. When you achieve that, no word, look, or attitude can disturb your center, because you have already learned to stay out of the fire without losing human warmth. 5. Turn anger into self-control. There are fires that destroy and others that forge. The difference lies in who handles them. Anger is that fire we all carry within, capable of illuminating or consuming depending on how you direct it. It's not about repressing it, but transforming it into controlled strength, into clarity, into power that doesn't shout. Most people believe that controlling anger means not feeling it. But the Stoic understands that emotional mastery is not achieved by extinguishing the fire, but by learning to ignite it only when it serves to advance. Every provocation that ignites your rage is an opportunity to train inner mastery. If you let anger take the reins, you give your power to the other. It's like giving the keys to your mind to the one who least deserves them. When someone seeks to provoke you and succeeds, they turn you into their reflection. But if you are able to maintain composure, the energy that was previously wasted in useless explosions becomes impulse, temper, firm decision. Anger ceases to be your enemy and becomes your teacher. Self-control does not mean standing still while the world steps on you. It means knowing when to act and when to wait. It's understanding that every word spoken under the fire of emotion costs more than it's worth. How many times have you reacted in a moment of anger only to later feel the weight of the unnecessary? The mind clouds, the tongue advances, and what seemed like a defense ends up being a blow to yourself. The Stoic observes this sensation, recognizes it, lets it pass, and acts only when reason has regained command. Transforming anger requires awareness. When you feel it rise, don't judge it or deny it. Breathe. Observe it as if you were watching the fire from the outside. Ask yourself what it is trying to teach you. Maybe it's pointing to a wound that hasn't healed yet, or an expectation that wasn't met. Anger is a signal, not a sentence. You can use it to know yourself better or to destroy what you've built. The choice is always yours. In everyday life, provocations are everywhere. The driver who cuts you off, the colleague who contradicts you, the person who belittles you. Each one is a test that measures your level of control. Misdirected anger burns your relationships and your health, but channeled anger strengthens your character. It teaches you to set boundaries firmly, to express yourself without losing your cool, to defend your peace without needing to raise your voice. Mastering anger is one of the most difficult victories because it demands fighting with yourself. But once you achieve it, nothing external can destabilize you. The energy that was previously wasted in anger becomes concentration and clarity. And there lies the secret of self-control, using the fire to illuminate, not to destroy. Because when you master your anger, you not only control your temperament, you control your destiny. 6. Disarm with humor and calm. Provocations are like a rope that someone throws to drag you to the ground. If you pull hard, you enter the game. If you let go of the rope, the other person loses balance. Humor and calm work like this. They disarm without confronting, they cut off the conflict without breaking dignity. It's not about mocking the other person, but about using lightness as a shield and serenity as a weapon. Because when the other person expects anger and receives peace, their strategy crumbles. People who live off drama don't know how to react to someone who doesn't get upset. The one who provokes seeks tension, seeks response, needs to feel they have control. But when you respond with calm or a slight smile, you take away their script. Suddenly, they don't know what to do with their own anger. Humor is not always laughter. Sometimes it's a way of saying, it doesn't affect me without having to explain it. It's emotional intelligence in motion, the ability to transform an attack into a powerless scene. Using humor as a defense does not mean lack of seriousness, but mastery. It means choosing not to fall into the trap of conflict. When someone tries to humiliate you and you respond with lightness, you don't do it out of superiority, but out of wisdom. You understand that tension only exists if you participate in it. Sometimes a calm look or a subtle phrase is enough to diffuse an entire emotional explosion. It's the modern version of what the Stoics practiced, responding with reason, not with noise. Humor, when used well, protects. It doesn't weaken you, it frees you. It allows you to breathe in the midst of fire without losing your center. It's a way of showing that you don't take the other person as seriously as they would like. Calm, on the other hand, is the foundation that supports that power. Without it, humor can become sarcasm or mockery. But with it, it becomes elegance. The combination of both is a sign of inner strength. The one who masters their emotions can choose when to laugh and when to be silent. In everyday life, this becomes an art. Imagine a discussion where someone raises their voice to impose themselves. You, instead of responding at the same level, lower your tone and throw a brief, firm and serene response. The contrast disconcerts. Calm disconnects the conflict, humor neutralizes it. You don't win by arguing, you win by disarming. And whoever fails to drag you to their level ends up fighting alone. The serenity that comes from this attitude is not weakness, it's silent power. Every time you choose not to react with anger, but with lightness and control, you strengthen your mind. You learn to use air where others use fire, to remain human in the midst of chaos. Because there's nothing more disconcerting for a difficult person than facing someone who doesn't need to prove anything. Humor and calm are proof that self-control can be more forceful than any violent response. And when you achieve that, conflict ceases to be a threat and becomes another opportunity to show who has the real control. 7. Set boundaries with serenity. The hardest boundaries to draw are not those of territory, but those of the soul. There are people who cross without permission, who invade with words, demands, or attitudes that wear you down. And you, out of habit or fear of seeming cold, let them pass. But there comes a time when you understand that you cannot take care of your peace if you do not know how to set boundaries. Serenity is not the absence of firmness. It is the most elegant way of saying up to here without the need to shout. Setting boundaries does not mean building walls, but establishing clarity. It is telling the other, you can approach but not abuse. I can listen to you but not absorb your chaos. I can help you but not at my own expense. Difficult people often test your boundaries constantly because they know that emotional confusion is the terrain where control is most easily gained. That's why the Stoic learns to keep his mental territory well defined. His calm is not submission. It is a warning that nothing external has permission to alter his balance. The mistake many make is to believe that saying no is being selfish, when in reality, saying no from serenity is a form of self-love. Every time you give in for fear of causing discomfort, you move away from yourself. Every time you accept a burden that does not belong to you, you lose strength. And the worst thing is that in the end, the people who take advantage of you do not change. They just learn that they can continue doing so. The limit is not a barrier against others. It is a sign of respect towards yourself. Serenity is key because it gives strength to your words without turning them into confrontation. You do not need to raise your voice to be heard. You need conviction. When you speak calmly and with certainty, the message goes further than the shout. The limit set with balance does not hurt, it educates. It teaches the other how to treat you and teaches you how to value yourself. Every time you mark a border with serenity, you free yourself from resentment. Because you no longer expect the other to guess your discomfort, you communicate it clearly and respectfully. In daily practice, this translates into small but powerful decisions. Not responding to the message that invades your rest, not accepting tasks that you know do not belong to you, not justifying what does not require explanation. Setting boundaries with serenity is choosing peace over guilt, coherence over complacency. It is not distancing yourself from the world, it is getting closer to your center. Whoever learns to do this stops being a victim of manipulation and emotional exhaustion. They discover that firmness can be silent and that respect begins with oneself. Because others only go as far as you allow them. And when you learn to draw your lines with serenity, life becomes clearer, relationships more authentic, and your energy cleaner. The limit is not rejection, it is balance. It is the constant reminder that your peace is non-negotiable. 8. Look at your reflection before judging. Difficult people act like dirty mirrors. They show us parts of ourselves that we'd rather not see. When someone irritates you, challenges you, or makes you uncomfortable, the immediate reaction is to point at the other person. But Stoicism teaches that external judgment always reveals something internal. What you condemn, you often carry within. Before pointing the finger, it's advisable to look at the reflection that the situation returns, because it may hide a lesson you have not yet learned. Every time someone manages to upset you, they're not only showing their character, but also revealing the exact point where you still lack control. If arrogance bothers you, perhaps you still need to heal your own pride. If impatience irritates you, maybe you can't tolerate your own mistakes. The reflection doesn't lie, it only returns what you don't want to accept. Therefore, the wise person doesn't react immediately, they observe. They know that every intense emotion is a signal, not a sentence. The ego tends to protect itself by looking for culprits outside. It's easier to say that person upsets me than to ask yourself why they do. But growth begins when you stop seeing enemies and start seeing teachers. Every conflict becomes a mirror of self-knowledge. Not all mirrors are pleasant, but all show truth. And whoever dares to look without denying what they see evolves. Stoicism doesn't seek perfection, it seeks awareness. Being able to look at yourself in others' reflections without running away from what appears is a form of bravery. Judgment towards others is often a projection of what we deny in ourselves. Therefore, silence before criticizing is wisdom. Not because the other person is right, but because you give yourself space to understand where your judgment comes from. Perhaps that person is not so different from who you were at another time. Maybe they reflect a part of you that you still don't know how to integrate. Recognizing this doesn't mean justifying what they do, but releasing the emotional weight that their attitude awakens in you. Looking at yourself before judging also changes the way you relate. It makes you more compassionate, less reactive. You begin to understand that everyone carries their own battles, that behind every behavior there's a story you don't know. And even though you still maintain your boundaries, you no longer do it from resentment, but from clarity. That difference changes everything. In practice, it means using every conflict as a mirror. Asking yourself, why does this affect me so much? Or what part of me feels attacked? This questioning transforms reaction into reflection. It takes you away from impulse and brings you closer to wisdom. Because only when you understand your own shadows can you stop fighting with those of others. The next time someone takes you out of your calm, don't look at their mistake, look at your reflection. That's where the real work is. The power is not in judging, but in understanding. And whoever understands no longer reacts, they choose. 9. Train your mind every day. The mind is like an invisible muscle. If you don't train it, it weakens. But if you exercise it with discipline, it becomes your best defense against any provocation. Those who do not train their mind live at the mercy of circumstances, reacting to everything that the environment imposes. Those who strengthen it, on the other hand, create a distance between the stimulus and the response, a space where freedom is born. Stoicism is not a theory that is understood by reading. It is a practice that is cultivated with daily repetition. Each day presents an opportunity to train calmness. From the traffic that tests your patience to the conversations where someone seeks to impose themselves. These are silent exercises to polish your character. The untrained mind reacts impulsively, allowing itself to be dominated by anger, frustration, or fear. But a trained mind precisely chooses when to act and when to observe. It does not seek to be right, it seeks to have control. Mental training begins with observation, learning to notice when an emotion tries to take over you. It's not about repressing it, but recognizing it without letting yourself be dragged along. That conscious pause is the gym of the soul. Each time you manage to contain a reaction, you strengthen your will. Each time you choose silence over anger, you develop resilience. It's an invisible process, but its results are noticeable in the serenity with which you face difficult days. Difficult people and tense situations are the weights that the Stoic lifts daily. They don't avoid them, they use them. Each provocation is a challenge that shapes your character. Each disappointment, a lesson that trains you not to depend on the external. The mind is trained not in moments of calm, but in the midst of chaos. That's where strength is tested. If you wait for life to be perfect to practice self-control, you'll never do it. Training the mind also involves taking care of what you allow into it. The conversations you feed, the thoughts you repeat, the worries you choose to hold. All of this shapes your inner state. You can't aspire to peace if you feed your mind with noise. That's why the Stoic precisely selects what deserves their attention. It's not coldness, it's focus. The trained mind becomes a refuge, a space where nothing external can disturb the internal calm. There are no shortcuts. Training the mind requires consistency, practice, and humility. It's not achieved in a day, but every day counts. Over time, you discover that mental discipline not only makes you stronger, but freer. Because when you master your mind, the world stops dominating you. And that freedom, the ability to choose how to react to what you can't control, is the highest form of power a human being can achieve. 10. Teach by your example, not with words. There are lights that make no noise, but illuminate everything around them. Such is the power of example. Words can inspire for a moment, but consistency leaves marks that transform. There is no discourse more convincing than the behavior of one who acts calmly in the midst of chaos. When you master your emotions, when you do not react to attack, nor lower yourself to provocation, you teach without uttering a single phrase. Stoicism is not preached, it is demonstrated by the way you walk through fire without losing serenity. In a world full of opinions and advice, the true authority is held by the one who lives what they say. Difficult people do not change because you correct them, but because they see that they cannot knock you off your center. Your serenity shows them a mirror that reflects their own lack of control. And even if they don't admit it, they feel it. Your silence, your patience, your self-control are lessons that impact more than any argument. The example disarms because you cannot argue with evidence. Talking is easy when the environment is calm, but acting consistently when tension rises is where maturity is measured. Every time you respond calmly to provocation, you teach what strength is. Every time you choose dignity over rage, you inspire more than you imagine. You don't need to convince anyone of your principles, just live them. Consistency speaks a language that everyone understands, even those who never listen. The example has a silent power because it is born from authenticity. It does not seek approval, it does not demand recognition. It is simply the natural reflection of a balanced mind. When you practice Stoicism in your daily life, the people around you notice. They see that you do not get upset at criticism, that you do not fall into provocations, that you maintain respect even when you do not receive it. And little by little, without words, they begin to change their tone with you. The respect that is not asked for is earned. Teaching by example also keeps you honest. It forces you to review your actions, to live with consistency between what you think, feel, and do. Because nothing destroys credibility faster than preaching calm and living in reaction. The true teacher does not teach from discourse, but from practice. Being an example does not mean being perfect, but being willing to correct yourself without guilt, to recognize your mistakes without losing balance. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment, I am Stoic as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.